Hello, butterflies, and welcome to Butterfly Tea Time. I hope you have your tea and your coffee ready. We're about to go in with Miss G.I. Shane. Many of you have seen her in the lupus community, and I'll give you all a chance to get some tea. Hello, butterflies. So I had the amazing chance and opportunity, and many of you have seen throughout Lupus Glitter in the last couple weeks, the amazing nonprofit event that happened in San Diego October 1st with male lupus warriors. It was an amazing experience, as we shared in Lupus Glitter, to raise awareness and to do all these butterfly and wolf moves that we're doing in the community. It was my pleasure to actually get to meet G.I. Shane in person. As we know, so many of us know a bunch of each other in our community through Facebook and Instagram. However, living across the globe in different states, we don't always get to meet each other.
Exactly.
So I was able to get to know G.I. Shane, and she's just doing some amazing work in the lupus community. She is a lupus warrior. She is a military activist, and she is an author. So welcome, G.I. Shane. We're so happy to have you in Butterfly Tea Time today. How are you?
I'm doing okay, Felicia. I actually started flaring today.
Oh, no.
And debated on whether I really wanted to do this, but I just decided to push forward. Probably that soldier mentality. And I have been using your product ever since the gala. I have been using the butterfly nectar.
You have?
Yes, that's what I've been using as just my base. I have no foundation. I just have your butterfly nectar on and some mascara and a little bit of blush and gloss. And it's working perfectly.
Oh, I love that so much. So
yes,
you guys, I don't know if you got to catch the story, but at Male Lupus Warriors Gala in San Diego, I'm in Las Vegas, so it was only like about a 5-hour drive for me. So I was honored to be able to make it to one of my Warriors galas. We launched Wolf Balm. So Wolf Balm is the new male version, and it actually was inspired by my friend and the love of her life, Emmett Henderson. As many of you have seen, he's doing a lot of work in the male lupus community, and he pointed out to me that maybe we should have something not so butterfly for the males. So thank you for that inspiration.
Yes, being able to connect with Male Lupus Warriors Corporation, I've learned a lot and met a lot of wonderful people. And the gala was another just event to be exposed to a different crowd and kind of learn more about lupus. Even though I'm a part of the community, I'm a fairly new lupus advocate. I mean, I've always advocated for lupus just because I have lupus. But I think, dating someone who has lupus, it's a whole different ballgame. And you learn things. You learn that you're not going through, the trials and the tribulations alone. So that's been a blessing. But as far as G.I. Shane, my name is Chanel. That's my first name. I go by G.I. Shane because it's kind of a joke.
I love it.
The military cut off the last two L's in my name. And at the time, I don't have a middle name. And at the time, my last name was Smith. So on paper, I look like a man, Shane Inman Smith. So I reported to the male barracks, as my orders had me doing, and got yelled at by a drill sergeant. And they're like, "What are you doing over here, female?" And I'm like, reporting. And so he looks at my paperwork and he's like, "You need to go over there."
Oh, wow.
So they take me to the women's quarters, and it's been just an inside joke. I wasn't G.I. Jane, I was G.I. Shane. So
I love it so much.
So, but it also has a saying and a meaning behind it. G.I. Shane, it says, "Not every G.I. is a Joe." So I'm actually wearing one of my shirts, G.I. Shane. And this is what the back of the t-shirt looks like. It has a female soldier on it. I'm going the wrong direction. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
What am I doing wrong? Okay, there we go.
Oh, it's so good. I love it, Chanel. It's so good.
And then I have a lot of different merchandise that we're doing with GI Shane. I have little pouches and they say the same thing. Not every GI is a Joe on the back. And
Wow.
I even have water bottles that have the same thing. And then we're making also other lines of t-shirts for female veterans. You know, I know a lot of female veterans, of course, and we have a lot of funny sayings, and we wanted to have a voice. And in 2020, when Vanessa Guillen was killed, she was a young private serving in Fort Hood, Texas, and she was murdered. She was sexually assaulted, and it was very sad. And to see her in her blues and to see myself in my blues, I looked like her. She could have been me, and I was her. I myself, unfortunately, have dealt with an MST issue in the military, and that issue led to one of my battle buddies actually committing suicide. The same person who assaulted me assaulted her. And so that really started my advocacy. I started about 2018. Let me back up. I was diagnosed with lupus in 2011, and I'm really struggling all these years for about 7, 8 years, just trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be. I was no longer a soldier due to the lupus, and also due to an injury that I suffered while I was in the military. Um, and I found myself, I didn't have the strength that I used to have. I didn't have, the gumption to get out of bed. All of a sudden, I find myself on just a load of medication and no cure. And so I really started just diving deep into my emotions and realized that my emotions were controlling my lupus flares. And so I really wanted to go on the journey of figuring out how to control lupus. How could I control it somewhat? How could I take, the steps to get my life back in order? Because I kept wishing for before lupus. I wanted to be the woman I was before lupus. I wanted to, as I was joking with a friend today, I want to carry that 150-pound rucksack. I want to be in full battle rattle. I want to carry my weapon. I want to wear my combat boots. I can't do any of that at this moment, but that's okay. And so I had to figure out, how do you overcome being strong and feeling weak, especially as a woman.
Yeah.
I think nobody really understands the plight of a female veteran. And I would even say that a female veteran doesn't understand her own plight. Um, as women, we're taught to internalize everything, you know. So, and then in the military culture, it's a suck it up, buttercup, and that's not just for women; it's for men too.
Right.
You suck it up and you drive on. You mission first, mission first, mission first. So I found myself kind of in a dark place, really wanting to honor my battle. I have her tattooed on my arm. And I wanted to, because when I was struggling, I wanted to reach out to her. And I went to reach out to her and I found out she had committed suicide. And it broke my heart because I had gotten caught up in all of my own emotional issues that I forgot to check on my battle. And I know that happens with all of us in life. We go through something, a divorce, a death, loss of a job or financial issues or whatever, but breakup, anything,
Yeah.
getting diagnosed with lupus, and all of a sudden your life is disrupted and you focus only on yourself, that you forget there's other people around you. And I had done that for a little while. So I started making it my mission to spread Tracy's kind of story, my story, because we were assaulted by the same individual. And I wanted to make sure that no one else had to struggle when they got out the military, especially a female veteran. Right now, female veterans get treated like Vietnam veterans. Our service is dismissed all the time. In fact, I went into a store the other day before the gala, a hair store, and I asked the lady, "Do you guys give military discounts?" And she says, "Yes, if you have your veteran card." And so I pulled out my driver's license that has veteran on it. And she said, "Well, where's your veteran card?" I said, "This is my veteran card, ma'am. It's on my license. I'm a veteran."
Yeah.
And she goes, "You're the veteran?" I said, "This is my license." So, and it happens when we go into the VA. You get mistaken for being the dependent. You get mistaken, you're the wife of. you're not actually the veteran. And there's a lot more women who are serving in combative positions. And so we are suffering more. And I think that women are seen as really emotional. And so when we start having problems, just like men, suffering from whatever we endured in the military, and it doesn't even have to be an MST issue. It could be deployments. It could be what you witnessed on a deployment, what you endured on a deployment. Maybe it was not necessarily an assault, but like sexual advances, and to the point where it's stressing you out, you know. Um, there's a lot of genderism, there's sexism, there's feminism, there's all these isms, and then now you're sick, and now you have to figure out, well, who am I? And so that's how this book. I met some wonderful women in a veterans group, and each one of us were invited to write a chapter about trauma we endured and how we used either our military skills or how we used our faith, whatever our faith may be, to overcome the traumas that we endured. And so that's how my book, Veterans Unchained, is what it's called. And it says Breaking the Cycle of Trauma One Link at a Time. And it's me and 18 other veterans. There are combat veterans in there. There are just some very amazing women in there. Their stories are very heart wrenching, but also very encouraging and inspiring. And each woman is doing her own thing off of this book. And so I'm very proud of everyone who is working really hard for this. Our mission is to spread the word on suicide in soldiers. Right now, and it's been out for a while. It's called Project 22.
That is so huge.
And there are 22 veterans that commit suicide a day. But what people don't know is that number has grown to 36 a day. And 21% of those suicides right now are women. And there are more women who are homeless veterans right now than there are men. And so my nonprofit is in its baby stages. Like, I just filled out the paperwork and applied, so it is just a baby. So my baby is growing. As it's
Butterfly cheers to you. That's so
Thank
amazing.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands on this book.
I am so excited to just do this organization because I want to help other female veterans who are coming out of the military transition and make it easier to transition. It's very hard when you're in a male dominated field and then you come out as a civilian and you're used to giving and receiving orders, but you're seen as being bitchy or rude, or you're too direct, you're too loud, you're a know-it-all. And that's not it. We know some things. We've seen some things, especially if we've traveled around the world. And for those who are combat veterans, they've endured some things. The other thing that has been exciting for me and how I advocate with the military is I made history. I am the first female in the state of Kansas to be on the military funeral honor guard team. So I'm actually an honor guard soldier. And that's what you see behind me. It's my honor guard. And so that's some things that I just want to show other young women, no matter what you're going through, you can reach your dreams, you can reach your goals. And so as far as lupus, like I said, I learned to control my emotions, and I learned to start talking about what I was going through and saying, hey, I'm not having a good day. I need a timeout.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then I flare up and I'm down. And I get it a lot. You don't look sick. You don't look sick. Trust me, I feel it.
What do you experience the most when you get your flares? Because I know I always say on the show how lupus is just such a fingerprint disease. It affects different internal organs. I always encourage everyone to keep a food diary when you're first getting into the patterns of what your body is doing. What do you experience when you get a flare?
If I mostly will start with joint pain. I'll start with body aches really bad. I will start breaking out with sores in my mouth, like on the top of my roof. And I can feel them. I can feel them coming, especially when the weather changes. I learned to watch the weather, not only just my food diet. but check out what the humidity was going to be like. And I've mentioned this, and even at the gala, I don't remember his name, but he had mentioned there is a correlation of lupus and the military. And in 2009, an article came out, and it actually they're linking some of us female veterans that have lupus and male veterans. I'm sure there are male veterans who have lupus as well. That due to the conditions and some of the environments we were exposed to, it caused our lupus. And so that's not, I mean, it's not proven, but it's something that is in study at the moment.
Well, it's definitely a theory, and I think that there's so many theories, whether it's genetic or you got it later in life due to an environment or something of that nature. We don't really know, because lupus is a mystery at this point too, especially with not as much research going into it as we deserve right now. They're putting so much research into cancer, but what we're getting is just this much. We are like 2 pages in the science books when they are becoming doctors. And if they are not getting lupus cases and they are not doing their due diligence as doctors and continuing to educate themselves, we're not getting everything that we deserve to get some more answers when it comes to lupus.
That is absolutely correct. And to go back, one of the things that I do is I watch my diet. When I start eating a lot of fast food, I'm definitely going to have flares. And
really?
I realized, and even seasonings. I realized that some seasonings, some spices cause flares in my body.
Interesting.
It's because of the preservatives that they put in food. It's the preservatives that they put on the shelf to make the food last longer. They got to ship it out all across the country to different restaurants and so forth, and it's different when you're cooking something at home versus going to the restaurant and getting it.
And you don't know everything that's in the food. I mean, we never do. I can say for me, I went to a huge event earlier this week, and the eggs that they provided, it was a breakfast meeting, were powdered eggs. And I would have never known that they were powdered eggs, but someone that was older and wiser than me was like, oh, these are powdered eggs. You've never heard of powdered eggs? I'm like, eggs can be powdered? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, some of the things they're pulling with our food and Food and Drug Administration nowadays is very despicable, and we won't even go there right now. But,
yeah, I'm from Kansas. I'm definitely from the heartland. I'm in the middle of USA, and so there's a lot of farmers. I've been on farm my whole life, different farming. Being outside. And so, fruits and vegetables are very important to me. I love my meat. I'm not going to lie. I eat everything, well, except green bell peppers.
We're going to be actually doing a special towards Halloween time after we share Tasha's video. She's the one that inspired me to actually create this skincare. We'll be actually we'll be sharing her YouTube video that she shot before she passed away about how she felt about makeup, going through lupus and the butterfly rash, and then also being right with herself and being able to take the makeup off at the end of the night. And actually her twin sister is going to be on the show along with some of her other family members. Aww. So that'll be really good. And we're going to be going over the deadly nightshades. I don't know if you've ever heard of these before, but bell peppers are one of them.
Yeah.
It's tomato, potato, bell pepper, and eggplant. Oddly enough, that can cause a lot of inflammation.
Yes. And so I'm allergic to pain medication. So, and I was blessed when I first got sent to a pain management specialist because of my issues with pain medication. She really educated me. Our bodies are designed to regenerate themselves. You think about it, you get a paper cut, after a little while, start getting a little scab, a couple of days, it's gone. Our bodies are designed to regenerate themselves. And a lot of the medication that we take, sometimes our body can absorb it and it no longer is effective. But there are natural fruits, vegetables that can help you or hurt you. And so I think that's one of the things that Emmett and I work on. We know what makes us feel good. We know what kind of we want to stay away from. We don't want to eat. That type of thing is really helpful. A lot of people ask.
Bell peppers are a trigger for you. Are they a trigger for Emmett too, or is that just
we
what
just
you
don't like them? I don't even know if they're figure we just don't like them.
Oh, okay.
I don't even want to smell them. Ever since I've been a kid, I've been like that. So maybe God was telling me years ago, hey, you don't need it.
My dad used to always describe some of vegetables that are like that are super green as they taste like the ground.
Yeah. Yes. I'm the only thing I miss out here in California is I don't have a garden yet. So I miss that because I love to grow, my own vegetables. I love to cook and I love my own herbs. My whole family back home, they're canning and, talking about making chili and tamales and this. And I'm like, I miss that. I miss that part of home.
So we used to jam, and I'm from actually the country too, and in Illinois, like the border of like
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Chicago. So I relate to a lot of the things that you're saying.
That's that accent. I can hear it now. The
Yeah,
Chicago.
I miss having a garden as well. And one thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed it all, Chanel, but certain stores, if you get like the fruits and vegetables there, if you're looking and there's just rows and rows and rows and they're all the same expiration dates, you can go to the back. It's the same delivery. They're not moving enough fruits and vegetables at some of our stores to compared to what they're buying. You get them and you bring them home, they change their climate to your refrigerator and they're moldy within 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like that back home, with
You know?
the vegetables. They last a lot longer. So yeah, I have noticed that quite a bit. And but I think that's one of the things that you learn. That was one of the things on my journey that I learned. Um, what worked for me. Again, it was protecting my peace for thing number one.
Yeah.
Um, watching what I'm eating and listening to my body. When it says it's tired, then just rest. Um, we always talk about it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to not stay okay, and that's something Em and I both talk about a lot, with friends, family, and, with the community. And I talk about that with veterans, as well. There's, because I also have rheumatoid arthritis. And so for me, I can tell when there's a 6 to 7 degree temperature change. I feel it right away. I have metal rods in my body and I've had surgery on both my feet. So when it starts to rain or it's going to rain, I can feel it. I can feel the pressure building and I know that I'm going to be flaring. Um, I know when I'm running fevers, and again, I've just learned a regiment of how to stay healthy. I stay active as much as I can. So, and I know that's hard for a lot of lupus patients when they first get diagnosed because you're in so much pain and it's really miserable to think about getting up and walking, getting up and doing something. And you have to, you have to stand your ground. And that's what my nonprofit is about. She stood her ground.
Love that.
We're taught in the military that if you find yourself lost, stand your ground, stand your position, and someone's going to come for you. That doesn't always happen in the civilian world as we'd like it to happen. And so it's kind of retraining yourself, figuring out who your village is, and cutting out negativity. If you're really tired of it, then you have to cut it out of your life. And that's what's helped me physically and emotionally deal with my lupus.
So I'm sure that so many of our viewers have already seen you in a lot of your works in and with the military, and then also just in the lupus community. I think a lot of people are really, really looking forward to reading your book. And so, where can we find your book? And I'm of course going to purchase it as well.
Definitely, definitely. Well, if you're in the San Diego area, you can just message me on Facebook at GI Shane or Instagram at GI Shane 78 or on my email, gishane78 at gmail.com. I will sign it for you and it is $20. Or you can go on my website, www.gishane.org, and purchase it there. Or you can go to Amazon. So those are some of the choices. But you can always see some of the merchandise. And if you are a veteran and you are wanting to participate, if you would like to be a mentor, if you would like to assist other women veterans, or you just need a battle buddy, then definitely reach out. Even if you're not a veteran, if you just support veterans, I have a lot of friends and family, never been in the military, but they're some of my hugest supporters. So it's just a thank you, to anyone that comes and join. And I Those that actually purchased the book from me and you have talked about this already, but
Yeah.
I will be donating money because I know Miss Felicia has been giving her product away to a
Yeah.
lot of people to help. And so it's just about helping each other. So
And we
those
want to thank you and Emmett from the bottom of our heart for donating to our butterfly sponsorship. A lot of the women and men that are going through, you know, the malar rash, the butterfly rash, and just hotness on the face and the flare and everything. We are on disability checks, and it is a tight income, and I've made it as low as I can with being able to keep it reproducing. So when someone like you guys comes around and you help someone that's really, really suffering with the butterfly rash, which as many of you guys have seen, it can be very, very uncomfortable and very painful. It's not just vanity. It's very uncomfortable, itchy, painful.
And it's not a vanity thing. I think that that misconception, you know, just because I don't look sick, I'm not sick.
Yeah.
But I work at that. You know, something my used to say was never wear your worries, baby. It'll age you before your time. And so that's something I live by. And you know, I feel like when it comes to my skincare, my beauty with having lupus, you know, I have my good days and I have my bad days. I definitely can show you some pictures. I look crazy. And I've had the rashes. I've had the hives all over my body. You know, I sometimes will show it and sometimes I don't show it. But I've had multiple surgeries. I have scars all over my body. And, you know, from the numerous surgeries that I've had, I think I've had a surgery every year since 2011. My last surgery was December 7th of 2021. So that hadn't even been a full year yet since I've had surgery. And I almost had part of my foot amputated off. So I fight. I don't know how to do anything but fight, and not in a bad way, not, you know, like physical fight, but just mentally and emotionally fight. I know that's my purpose. So if I can help someone else and encourage them to fight, it's just taking that first step. That's the hardest part, and that's the scariest part. It is the unknown, and I think being on the honor guard team helped me. It helped me understand the unknown better. A lot of people, you know, I buried soldiers for many years, and people would be like, "Oh, that's so sad." But for me, it made me appreciate living more. It made me appreciate everyone around me, and that I wanted peace in my life. You know, I have listened to countless funerals, and I have seen little old men and women just that you would never know the extraordinary acts of heroism, courageousness, that these just little ordinary old people like me and you have been through and have achieved in their lifetime. And so for me, you know, that was something I wanted to focus on, was my life and the legacy that I leave for my sons. You know, that even though I may not be here one day, but while I am here, we're just going to live it up to the fullest. And so I
And
feel
you know, I'm so honored to have met you and the global change that you are creating for women, not only in the lupus community, but in the military. You are giving women a voice that maybe didn't feel like they had a voice, and you are continuing with giving your friend that passed away a voice currently. And I know that you're helping so many people.
yeah,
So
you know, in fact, her husband and I, we keep in contact. And I think the sweetest thing, and when I knew that I was on the right path, the couple of days, maybe a month after the book released, I went on my first podcast. And right before my first podcast, he had sent me a message and said, "Thank you." And
wow.
I knew,
Boy.
I know it. It's hard. It's emotional, and lupus is emotional. And when you can understand that and realize that even through those emotions, we're not that different, men and women. We just process them differently, and we handle them differently. And when you can learn that, you 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 earn a different respect for people. You know, you can give respect to people. And so, yeah, you know, I think that everyone deserves a chance to feel beautiful and to, you know, shine. But you shine from within. And when you shine from within, then you start shining on the outside as well. And so I know I try real hard not to judge people. I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I do. But I really try hard not to judge anyone and understand that I was her at one time. So I always
Absolutely.
definitely try to encourage, the next woman, even if, like I said, even if they're not in the military, um, because I wasn't in the military. I haven't always been in the military. I've done other things. I'm a crafter. I do a lot of crafting. I've had my own business for over 11 years where I
Well,
make.
you're in the right family then between Emma's t-shirts and
I
Shine,
know.
everything she's making. I saw everything at
Oh,
the
it's
Lupus
so
Walk Colors of Lupus, Nevada this year. So it was very
good.
impressive. You guys are making such a difference in our community. And I really encourage you guys to check out G.I. Shane's book.
Thank
And
you.
can you tell us one more time where we can find your book and where we can find your charity?
Sure. You can go to gishane.org, or you can go to Facebook at GI or you can go to Instagram, GIShane78, or you can email me if you want to personally email me at gishane78@gmail.com.
Well, butterflies, I hope that you really enjoyed this warrior story share for our Tuesday tea. And I encourage you to just follow and get behind Chanel G.I. Shane as she's doing so much work in the community. And until next time, fly free. Thank you, Miss G.I. Shane.
Bye.
Bye.